Hey guys, it's Arden13 coming at you with a little bit of a change of venue. I am working from my home studio today that I am going to be getting in better array than what you can probably see below my shoulders. We've had a couple changes over the past month, which I feel has degraded my progress and definitely kind of hindered my motivation when it comes to this writing project. But I did manage to get 4 articles written and one in my mind started. I just hadn't really gotten a chance to write it down. So I know this is late, but I wanted to share with you to maintain the accountability, and thank you guys once again for the accountability. First thing that I wanted to talk about is the 7 Ravens clan, which is a clan that I've adapted from a 3.5 module that I really enjoyed. They are a clan of lawful good assassins, and that has been translated into Ellecrid almost, I wouldn't say verbatim word for word, but I've taken very heavy inspiration from that module and from that information to create the 7 Ravens clan of Ellecrid. They are, as I said earlier, a lawful good group of assassins, kind of like Batman, who seek to deal vengeance and rid the world of problems that would otherwise plague it. So they really go for those truly evil characters, lawful good fighting against chaotic evil. The 7 Ravens clan are located in the Crane Basin, which is a heavily Japanese, culturally inspired center. But to talk about them, I also need to mention that something that I was able to come up with while I was working on the 7 Ravens clan and the 2 articles surrounding them that I made was, I don't like the idea, for whatever reason, where I'm at right now, I don't like the idea of saying that there are katanas in Ellecrid. It kind of rubs me the wrong way because everyone else uses katanas, and though I still want to use like the visage and the essence of a katana, calling it a katana feels weird to me. I've changed that, so in Ellecrid there are no katanas, there are only arata blades. Arata is plow, if I recall correctly. Basically their plow in the Crane Basin was 2 separate blades because metallurgy in that age was so poor that they had to put 2 separate blades. They couldn't just make one long blade and then bend it, it would break. So they had 2 separate blades, so for every arata there is a brother and a sister sword, which is something that I planned on articulating in a further arata article. Just haven't gotten that far. I just made the change from katana to arata because it felt a little bit more honest and it felt a little bit cleaner to me than just saying, yes, there are katanas, because I'm a weeb and I don't want to, I just kind of want to move away from that in some way, shape, or form. But the 2 articles I wrote about the 7 Ravens clan are the Flight of the Ravens and the Path of the Ravens. 2 things that are very important to the 7 Ravens clan. The Flight of the Ravens is actually a sword art. Not Sword Art Online, it's a sword art. It's a martial art, a training that they undergo that incorporates a level of lycanthropy into it, but it is almost a Bushido one slice kind of ending the fight sort of situation. It's an end-all be-all sort of strike that mechanically deals a lot of damage, but in terms of if a 7 Ravens clan member were to enact this technique upon you, that means that they do not want to play around. They do not want to dance around this situation. They want this fight over and done with, and they want you dead. Which I was very excited to actually write an article about. I had never really thought about the various martial trainings, the various, the article, I do believe, or at least the prompt, excuse me, started with, if I wanted to be a master swordsman, what technique should I learn? And I had never thought about that, so I do appreciate World Anvil for those prompts. They're very interesting and very thought-provoking. The next article that I wrote was about the Path of the Ravens, and the Path of the Ravens is actually the kind of testing grounds. It's the way that you, as an individual outside of the clan, would hope to gain access and become a member of the clan. It is a journey that you would take from passing through a number of Torii gates and completing various tasks where this Ravens clansman would basically be judging you, watching you, and observing you, so that when you complete your Path of the Ravens, you pass all of the criteria to become a member of the Seven Ravens clan and to move forward in that. The Path of the Ravens is 7 tasks long, consisting of the journey, the old raven, the father and the daughter, the riddle, the duel, all of these different things that are important to the clan as a whole, and the way that you conduct yourself is observed and documented during your course of completing this task. A number of people have attempted the Path of the Ravens, and a number of people have failed. The Seven Ravens clan is not very well known, neither are they very large in number. They are diverse in number in species that make up the clan, but they are not very large. And the Path of the Ravens is the main reason as to why they are so few in number. Ultimately, that's what I was able to come up with for the Ravens clan, the Seven Ravens clan, so far. And I'm very pleased. The Seven Ravens clan have kind of been a mainstay in my games for quite a while now, and being able to translate that into a page where somebody else can look at it and not just me have to explain it. A lot of my players know who the Seven Ravens clan is and know that they're not to be trifled with. It's just very gratifying, I would say, to have that put out there, finally. Now, I realized in the midst of me writing these 2 articles, I had thought that I had written a full, parent article for the Seven Ravens clan. I had not. That's something that I will work myself back up to doing here as soon as possible, but I did want to take this opportunity somewhere here in the middle of this video to kind of say, I'm not giving up on this project, though I do feel that here in the middle of the year, I'm kind of feeling a little bit of burnout, and I think that specifically holding myself to specifically writing in World Anvil, I'm still gonna world build, but I think that my level of presence on the site itself, just consistently, might be pulled back just a little bit in the coming month or so, just so I can work myself back up to some other writing projects that I've been putting off for far too long, but also it's definitely, I've definitely made a lot of progress, and I am very appreciative and thankful for that. I just kind of want to move in a different direction, and I'll come back to it so I don't completely burn myself out. Now, the other 2 articles that I managed to write this month were actually animals. And I really take a lot of inspiration, and I want to give a lot of credit to Kat. I have such a bad time trying to come up with animals and creatures and flora. She does a really, really good job of that, of just creating kind of, not necessarily silly, but interesting plants and animals in her settings and in her worlds, where I feel like I'm not, I think a little too broadscape or a little too grand scale. And I'm not able to really hone in on very hyper-specific details, or just, a random flower. I really appreciate her for doing that, and she was a main inspiration behind this, but I was able to come up with 2 animals, really 3, but I didn't write the 3rd. I'll tell you about it anyways, but I managed to write down 2 articles about 2 animals that have been introduced into the Ellecrid ecosystem. The first and foremost is the Naeko, Naeko, and they are found in, all of it is found in Prador, in the continent of Prador, as far as I'm aware. But the Naeko is like a combination between a hyena and a cheetah. So they have the speed of the cheetah, but the kind of scavenger mentality of the hyena. They can grow to be big enough that Tabaxi even ride them sometimes. I don't know, I looked at some images of hyenas, and when I was younger, my favorite animal was a cheetah, so I wanted to combine those 2. I wanted to find some way to make an interesting creature that was an allusion to my favorite animal back when I was younger. Fun fact about the Naeko, besides the fact that they are a cheetah-hyena hybrid, they also have kind of like a manticore tail, like a manticore stinger on the end of their tail. So I thought that was fairly interesting and really cool, and I can't wait to come up with a stat block for that, and I'm going to put that somewhere at some point. The second creature that I was able to write an article for is called the Taya, and the Taya is a flying squirrel tiger. They're about a little bit smaller than a tiger, but they can grow to the size of a tiger, but they have the membranes between their paws, between their legs, that allow them to glide through the trees. The Taya are definitely a danger in the woods, in the jungles of Ompari, as well as even Kaor. You don't know any of these places that I'm mentioning, but I made a flying tiger. Without actual wings, they can glide kind of like a flying squirrel. So that's the Neko and the Taya. Two cats, two felines. Can you tell I'm a cat person? The last creature that I was able to come up with, but I didn't write an article for, is called the Zufu. And the Zufu are lemurs who hang out in jungles, but they have kind of like a cockatiel parakeet's voice box. So they emulate sounds, they emulate voices that they hear, and so what they do, that they're tricksters, so they would just kind of hang out in the trees, listen, emulate sounds, and so they would deter travelers and kind of mess with travelers, play tricks on them, play jokes on them, and get them lost in the woods. For all in good fun, but sometimes it's led travelers into not so great situations. But those are the Zufu. Again, I haven't gotten a chance to really write an article about them, but I plan to at some point. I just wanted to let you know that was something else that I came up with that wasn't a cat. Like I said, that is pretty much all I've gotten written in terms of World Anvil. Other writing projects that I've taken on for myself is I'm more or less trying to step away from the format of World Anvil, just the article break of it, and try to dip my toes back into kind of story writing and novelization and stuff like that. So I've started writing a short story surrounding two of the OCs that Mal and I are very familiar with, Siege and Mercury. And I think I mentioned I started writing a short story about Siege a couple months ago, but I never really went anywhere with that. I plan on going back to that as well. As of right now, I am writing a story about them as mercenaries on a ship battle. I'm having a lot of fun writing that story so far, so I'm thinking I'm going to use that as a springboard in the coming weeks to get back into a little bit of chapter writing, novel writing, and short story writing. We'll see what the future brings. I might take a step away just for like a couple days. I was sick for a little bit. Hey! Say hi to you're here now. You're on camera. Ha ha ha. I'm very pleased with the way that the short story is going so far, and I think that might be where my attention is going to lie for the next month or so. I'm not going to stop world building, obviously. That's kind of my thing. And since it is July and we are back to the World Anvil summer camp, Kat and I are going to address the summer camp at some point. I don't think it's going to be in the capacity we did last year. We just have crazy schedules at this point, balancing life and work. So we will see what the future holds. Thank you so much for joining me today, and Ristalin. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much for the accountability. If you enjoyed today's content, if I could bother you to hit all the buttons that everyone else bugs you about, I would love for you to join the lunch table. And if you're feeling like supporting the content, we did just launch a Patreon that you can support us there and get access to our Discord, where we're starting to grow our community there. We would love to have you. Either way, welcome to the lunch table, guys. I've been Arden13. I'm still waiting on that ramen, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye!